everybody, welcome to Old Roommates. Today on the show, we revisit My Best Friend's Wedding, starring Julia Roberts, Rupert Everett, Dermot Mulroney, and Cameron Diaz. None of them are here, but Christina and I will be catching that bridal bouquet and talking about My Best Friend's Wedding. Stay tuned.
Wow. That was quite an
Because I was looking at my notes for the year of this movie, and I thought I had it written down, and I didn't. Instead, I just had, like, the actors.
Did I write it down? Anyway. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
To Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
And My Best Friend's Wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Did you look it up? 89? Something like that?
No. It was like 94.
Or was it in the 90s? Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
No, wait. Let me just find out. It's right here. This is 1997.
97?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so back then, Brian.
Oh.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. Well, this is weird. Feels weird to go first. 97, I was 25. And so we talked about this with Pretty Woman. Mm-hmm. I was not a Julia Roberts fan.
Right, we can't go there.
No, I'm just saying. I have to set the scene. But but I was a huge fan of, I think it's P.J. Hogan, the director. He had done Muriel's Wedding, of which I was a big fan. This was his more American I'm sure I'm screwing all of these names and facts up, but here it is. I love Muriel's Wedding. And I was also excited to see Rupert Everett because of this openly gay actor. And I loved it. I love this movie. I had the soundtrack. It's one of those things when it came out on VHS. I bought it and watched it a couple times. Really enjoyed it. I love the intro. I loved just that it felt different. I like that there was just random singing moments for no apparent reason without it being a musical. I like the characters that are singing to each other and that are being emotional and deep, and people are behaving badly for the sake of love, and things are complicated. But then there's also this friendship element of Rupert Everett and Julia Roberts, but there's also the friendship element of Michael, Dermot Mulroney, and Julia Roberts' characters. So, and you have Kimmy, who is a likable person. Mm-hmm. So you have all of these complicated things, and I really loved this movie.
How'd you really feel about it?
I hated it. No, I loved it. Christina, how about you?
So I watched, again, I think anybody who has listened to the Pretty Woman episode understands how we both feel about Julia.
Yeah.
So I was about 30, I guess, when this came out. I remember watching it in the movies. I don't remember who I was with. I'm assuming it was a date of some sort. It seemed like a good date movie. And I think I watched it despite my feelings of Julia Roberts. And I remember at the end of the day, I did like the movie. I had some issues with it. There was some parts of it that I wasn't thrilled about. I really liked the fact that she was the bad guy.
Mm-hmm,
and
same.
That was it actually helped me to like her a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Because up until that point, I felt like she was very the same character in different movies. And it was just so nice and refreshing to see her being the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
I remember having some issues with her acting, though, surprisingly enough. Mostly just the manic parts. Do you know what I'm talking about? In the car when she's saying...
Oh, I don't want to... I'm nodding. I don't...
Yeah.
People know. I'm nodding along. I just don't want to interrupt you.
Right.
I just...
But those manic parts, I wasn't a big fan of. That she was really...
Then,
yep. Yeah. I thought she was overacting and things like that. But I loved Rupert Everett. I thought he was just awesome. I think that was my first introduction to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember having any feelings towards anybody else. Even Cameron Diaz, I kept I'm trying to think of where she was in her career at that point. Was this one of her first movies? Because she wasn't like... I feel like it must... Know. I feel like this was one of her first movies. Was it before The Mask or after?
That's a good question.
I think maybe Mask... I think The Mask was
look it up, and I will say that the part that I struggled with Julia Roberts, the acting or the performance, was I just didn't buy her as a food critic. That was my big take. Like in the beginning, that beginning scene was very unconvincing. Even then, when she's like, I will call it confident and something. It's like, no, you won't. You were not a food critic. Give me a break. Like,
yeah, it's totally weird choice.
I don't know. I just didn't.
Did you think it was sort of a throwback to Mystic Pizza?
No. But I think I just didn't believe it. But I will say, like, historically, this movie came after Julia Roberts made a couple movies that were not very well received. Like, she did Mary Riley. And a couple other movies that were just against her image. Like she wasn't the cackling, red, haired, object of affection. She was a bit. She played some dowdy characters. She played some, more heavier period piece. I think kind of things she had done. So this was really a resurrection sort of or really bringing it back to what she was doing well, which is romantic comedies. But to your point, I also appreciated that she was a jerk, that she was the bad guy in this, and the lead character, but not super likable.
So I just want to throw this out there. So it looked like some of these things, it's hard to... They don't put it in order. Mm-hmm. But it looks like The Mask was 1984.
Okay, so 3 years before
and this. And then this. And it looks like this might be our second movie.
Oh, wow.
I could be wrong, because, again, it's not in order. But then right after that was Something About Mary. It was 98.
Really quick casting on this. So this is right before Sex and the City. Original... Sarah Jessica Parker was offered this role. And Julia...
Cameron Diaz?
No, the lead.
Oh,
so then Julia Roberts got a hold of the script and was like, no, I want to make this movie. So then she made the movie, and Drew Barrymore was going to be Kimmy. And
that's interesting. Actually, I could see both of them.
Yeah.
I could see both of those roles.
Yes. And when Julia Roberts was signed to it, she was like, she wanted some choice on casting, and she wanted Cameron Diaz, and she wanted Dermot Mulroney.
And so...
Mulroney.
I'm not even going to say it. I know I'll screw it up. Sorry. So there are a few more in between that. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. The Last Supper, She's the One, Feeling Minnesota, Head Above Water, and Keys to Tulsa. Or
none of them.
All before.
Brothers McMullen. Was that one of them? She's the one. She's the one is the one that...
Oh, She's the One. Yeah. And Feeling Minnesota, that's the one with Keanu Reeves.
That's right.
Remember that one?
Never saw it.
Sorry. Okay, I'm all done with that. What was I just saying? Oh, was it you that told me, it must have been, about Julia Roberts taking Rupert Everett kind of under her wing?
No, I didn't tell you that.
Who told me that? Who else would I know that would tell me that? Maybe Matt? It might have been Matt that told me that. That it was kind of her, his first movie, and she, kind of took him under her wing.
Absolutely not his first movie. That's not...
All right. If Matt's home, I might have to have him come in.
Maybe his first American romantic comedy, but because he did Another Country, he did a lot of British things, I believe. But So should we talk about now?
Yes, let's talk about now.
As much as I love the musical flavor of this movie with his music throughout, my first real so I love the opening number, and it's so random. It's so random.
Random.
And I'd never seen that before, and even watching it now, it still feels really fresh.
Yeah,
and
because so cute and fun.
To remind people of the opening, it has none of the actors. It is truly these three. So it's a bride and two of the people in her wedding party singing. Or lip syncing Annie DeFranco's...
So it was 3 people in her wedding party.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why I know that.
I know why. Because I overheard Emily talking about it. Emily, your daughter. Oh. So, But they're lip syncing Annie DeFranco's cover of "Wishing and Hoping," and I still think it's so enjoyable, and it feels really fresh, and it just feels different for a movie, a Julia Roberts movie, to feature someone other than Julia Roberts.
Right? I know. I was like, wow, good for you. It was so cute. It was, and I think, were they trying to... All right, so we were on What Did We Miss? A few weeks ago with Matt Ferrara, and we were talking about What's Up, Doc. And at the end of the movie, Brian had mentioned this movie as something that kind of reminded you of What's Up, Doc. Okay?
Yes, yeah.
Yes. I'm wondering if this movie has had an idea behind it. Like, this is the type of movie I want it to be. And because of that, they did that beginning opening.
Well, I think they're trying to trick you. I actually think about this now, and like, are they just trying to trick you into thinking it's going to be like marriage is often like, for some people, marriage is like the goal. It's like, I can't wait till I'm married, and it's all about wishing and hoping, and it's this like fairy tale sort of opening to this movie of like just then like with the flowers and singing and everything's happy and blonde and lovely, and then
it's all about the bride.
All about the bride, the blonde bride. And then you really open to, you don't really necessarily open, but it becomes this like, suddenly you're 28, you're not married, there is no dream.
Can you imagine 28 and not married?
How embarrassing.
So bad.
How old are you? I was 40.
I was 38 when I got married.
Yeah. So, so it's just, but it's funny, and I think maybe that is the vibe is like, okay, here's the ideal, and now we're gonna like just talk about this very messy wedding, and all the emotions it drums up, and people that have nothing to do with you. Yes. Like, if you imagine Cameron Diaz to be the star of this movie, and like, right, if you reimagine this movie, like, she could be Cameron Diaz in the beginning of that opener, and it's just all the swirl that goes around her, and is trying to take her down, whether she's aware of it or not. So,
interesting thought. I really like the opening as well, but I think so. I wanted Emily to watch it with me. I'm trying to get her to watch some of these movies with me, and so far it hasn't worked out really well. But she said she would watch at least some of it with me, and I think this totally put the nail in the coffin for her. She was just like,
the opening number.
She goes, "This is terrible." She's like, and she's 12, so she's used to things a little different anyway. But she was like, we're halfway through the phone, she's like, this song is so long. And then she's like, which one is Julia Roberts? Like, she just couldn't relax and enjoy the song. It was like really funny. And it kind of screwed the whole movie up for me because it started out with like a bad vibe, which is fine.
But you hit her.
Clearly. She's been in the basement ever since. Just kidding. Please don't report me. But I loved it. I thought it was fun, and I forgot about it. And what's funny is, you talked about the soundtrack. I had a soundtrack, and I loved the soundtrack. I wore that thing down. So I don't know why I forgot that number, but it was fun to see it. And I was like, yay!
Yeah, I kind of forgot that opener, too. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, I love this. But right off the bat, the elevator scene, not right off the bat, the scene where it's Julia Roberts and Cameron Diaz in the elevator, when Cameron Diaz, like, holds the elevator.
Yes.
So I find this, certainly not then, but now, I don't know why, I was very sensitive to the music, the score, like, where they kept this, like, dopey, sort of almost loud background music. Yeah. And scenes that didn't need it. And this is one of them. Like, you don't need, like, claustrophobic, weird, intense little sound, like, music in a tight elevator with someone yelling in your face. Like, that's enough of a moment.
Yeah.
And I think consistently this movie, and again, this is a now feeling, like, it just doesn't need so much music in it. I like the singing. I like when it's like, this,
the
those
soundtrack,
moments.
the score.
How important music is.
They had interesting choices with the score, too. Some of it was a little bit too, like, I guess
hokey.
Silly. Yeah, hokey.
So I'm jumping. So I'm going to jump all the way to the end.
Yeah.
When Kimmy,
she's chasing us?
Thank you.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
There's no because the second Kimmy sees them kissing. Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Oops.
So we still see it, but like they start running, right? But the music is like boing to boing, but boing. It's like it's this weird music. I'm like, so there's no suspense because if this was serious, the music would feel different, or there wouldn't be music at all. It would just be suspenseful because it's suspenseful anyway. It's a dramatic moment anyway. Do you need to flood the scene with music and dopey music?
And this is kind of what I was thinking about when I was talking about the What's Up Doc movie. It's the same. I felt like it was the same type of thing. Like they would try. It was trying to be a certain type of movie with maybe it was just with the music.
Yeah.
But even all of the pratfalls. There were a lot of pratfalls. She fell 4 different times.
Yeah.
4 different times. She didn't need to do that. Maybe twice or something.
Yeah.
But like that type of thing, I felt like they were trying to do something.
Here's my thing. I think there were 2 things going on, and I wrote this a couple times in my notes. I said I really love this movie when it's not being a Julia Roberts movie. I feel like there are moments where like, oh God, she's too unlikable. Make her cackle. Have her fall down.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Have Rupert Everett slap her in the ass. It'll be really funny. I feel like there was like now. This is not a then. This is a now. Where it's like there's an awareness that I certainly didn't connect then. But it's like I feel like it's like anytime Julia Roberts is starting to look too evil of a character, or there's something else going on where it's like something feels too dark. We need to make it jokey and like let's have Rupert Everett grab the mannequin and fall down for no reason. Like there's no reason. So the pratfalls, I agree. I think the music is right up there too, where it's like, this is too sad. Let's pump some silly music into the scene. And I didn't feel that then, and I felt that now.
I felt it a lot now, and I didn't really feel that. Aside from again, what I said before with like the manicness of her when she had these little scenes and she's smoking really fast, and I'm like, oh my God, please stop.
See, I was there for that. I was fine with that. I think my issues are more about like the laughing and the cackling, that. And you're counting the pratfalls. I was counting her cackling at the final scene.
Damn cackles, man.
The final scene with Rupert Everett at the wedding, right? First of all, do people go back to the reception after they leave?
I have a whole... I've had this conversation with several people now. I've literally had this conversation with so many people. The bride and the groom leave. They throw rice at them. She's changed into her going away, which they used to do a lot.
Yes.
They don't really do that now, but... throwing the rice at them, they leave, blah, blah, blah.
The fireworks all along the driveway. They're all standing on the driveway. They're like ready to go home. And then they're at the reception,
like everybody leaves after the bride and groom.
I have some issues with the conclusion of this movie.
Yeah.
Her gift to them, I'm jumping all around, but it's a shallow dive. Shallow dives only. Her gift to them is their song. I would be like, fuck your song. I don't want to think... that is the rudest thing.
It's so fucking rude.
Okay.
And so there's so many things wrong with that whole scene. First of all, no bride is going to show up on her wedding day without a song. I don't care. She'll be up till midnight or 3 in the morning. She'll grab a song from out of the blue. It doesn't matter. She'll have a song ready. And honestly, most DJs need to know what that song is beforehand to make sure that they have it. So that's one thing. And then we have a guest star coming in. Come on in. I'm just going to finish a thought, and then no, it's okay. So, and the other part was when she's standing there, and she's like, I didn't get you a gift.
Well, it starts...
And that is the reason I hate Julia Roberts, because she does that sort of thing on award shows and stuff. Remember I was telling you on the Pretty Woman thing? Again, we weren't going to do this, but at the when she's like presenting awards and stuff, she acts like she's like so cool and she's like reading scripts or whatever. I'm sorry.
He's forming a puddle.
I'm so sorry. So I have Matt here. Matt, honey.
Yes.
We are recording.
He just came back from a run.
Thank you for being a surprise guest on our episode. We were talking about Rupert Everett. Were you the one that told me that Julia Roberts took him in under her wing or something? Were you the one that told me that?
No, I don't think I was.
Okay. I don't know who it was that said that. I'll have to think about that. I thought maybe it was you. I don't know who else it would have been between you or you.
Well, I don't know either, Christina. How many other podcasts do you have?
Ooh, only 3 or 4.
Matt, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sorry. Thank you very much.
Anytime Christina can be proven wrong is a truth. Interrupt us anytime.
I'm sorry for my honesty.
No, I don't know who said it. And I don't even know exactly what was said. That's why I was kind of calling you in to be like, what was it that was said about that? So anyway, I'm sorry. He just came back from run. He's training for the marathon.
Nice.
My husband.
Bye. Thank you. But Christina, that speech though, do you remember how it really starts? She says, I had this awful dream. I dreamt someone was trying to break you two up. It's like, why would you say that in someone's wedding? Are you nuts? And and also, because 92% of those people in that crowd have no clue what she's talking about. So it's like, why are you telling the bride and groom on their wedding day that you had a dream that someone broke up their wedding? You're an awful person.
Ridiculous. It's so dumb. So, and like
the song thing,
you just got over this whole dramatic part. Like, why are you even rehashing this? Like, move on.
The song your husband sang to me on a boat yesterday is my gift to you. Yeah. Fuck you.
You can have my song.
That's so wrong. So every time that play, he's gonna think of Julia. He's gonna think of how's her name?
Julianne.
Julianne. Jesus Christ. That's right.
We'll just call her Jules.
Yeah. Jules, and he's not going to be thinking of Kimmy. That is mental. That is a mental fuck over.
Yeah, it really is.
I don't like that at all.
It really is.
And, so then Rupert Everett emerges in the crowd. By the way, he's the best friend. He's the best friend ever. He drops everything for her.
And he doesn't even like to fly.
I know. So then he shows up, right?
I expect that from you, by the way, that sort of friendship. If I'm ever in a bind.
If I had access to like a plane at my my leisure, I would be there. I think. Okay. I mean, I would.
Wow.
I think Christina. I think I would first be like he said the tough love thing. He's like, all right, Michael's chasing Kimmy. You are chasing Michael. Who's chasing you? No one. Get it? Like, and also,
I do like his tough love.
I love it. And one of my favorite. And there's a lot to love in this movie. I have a million notes, but. Really quick, I also really love, and I credit the movie with this, when they're at the airport, she's saying bye to him, and she's like, George, what's going to happen? Mm-hmm. He's like, you're going to tell Michael, he's going to pick Kimmy, and you're going to come home.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. Yep. And it's like, I love this movie for doing that.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. This is a smart movie that acts dumb, in order to make it a Julia Roberts movie. That's my critique with this now. Being a middle-aged lens, that is my problem with this movie. Mm-hmm. It's way too... It's like too self-aware that this is a Julia Roberts fun movie. But it didn't have to be.
Right.
But I loved it then, so what do I know?
What do you know?
What do I know? Not much.
Good question.
But the cackling has to stop. God.
She
cackles like 5 times in the end of the movie when she's dancing with George.
Well, it's her signature move. That's her signature move, the big cackle. I can't even do it.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways. That was a lot of emotion. I got emotional just now.
Yeah, let's just take a breath.
Don't fuck with someone's wedding. Oh. You had your chance.
Yeah, did she?
Jules.
That's right. They dated for like 5 minutes or something, right?
Really quick. One of my favorite scenes of this movie, and I think it's beautifully done, and I actually think it's one of Julia
I know what you're going to say, because it's going to be one of mine, too.
Oh.
Should we guess?
Guess.
I think it's going to be the moment on the boat.
Oh man, I'm getting goosebumps. That's what I was going to say.
It was a great movie. That was a great scene.
Perfect, beautiful, sweet, sad, heartbreaking scene that almost belongs in a different movie.
Yep. She actually does a really nice job acting that.
Yeah.
You know, that whole, you can really see like that, the plethora of emotion. 100%. And I like the conversation that they're having.
Yes.
And they talk about the moment.
Yeah, and if you let it pass you by.
If they let it, it doesn't, it's very intense. The music was good in that part.
Yeah.
That was a good music score in that part. And they talk about it, letting it pass. And they let it pass.
And they let it pass. Because they both,
I think, and it seems right that they let it pass. It seems right.
Because at the end of the day, you feel that they both know better. Yes. They know they could be stupid. Because when you and also, there's a really smart shot of Julia Roberts where she is a full movie star on that boat. The wind is blowing. She has a little bit of hair traipsing across her neck. Mm-hmm. She is a movie star.
Yes.
And in any other movie would have them kiss, like secretly kiss, and have this be the scandal then, right?
Yeah.
But instead, it's like, for all the posing and posturing and them trying to act like grown-ups with this very young little affair that they sort of cling on to, but this friendship that they have, like, they both know better, and it is such a beautiful, beautiful scene. Yeah. I love that scene.
It is a beautiful scene. And and it does seem like it's in a different movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love the dance after and the crying.
Yeah. It's great.
The subtle crying, it gets really, really good. And I think that's the actual moment that she realizes that they don't belong together.
Yeah.
But she's still hell-bent on breaking them up anyway. Because at that point, it's her winning.
Yeah.
But at that other moment is when she realizes it's not about what she really wants. It's about, and then she moves on to try to do it because she wants to win.
That's right. It's not even so much that I want Michael. It's that I just really don't want Michael to be with someone else.
Right.
Like, I want him. And I think that feels true. I think, like, even in friendships, it's almost like when your friend tells you, oh, I'm pregnant. It's like, okay. Mm-hmm. Like, there's that little ping of, like, oh, it's going to affect our friendship because your life's going to be different now. And I think it's similar with marriages. It's like when you have like a really good friend, like, I'm getting married, and it's like, I'm really happy for you, but I know it's going to change our friendship a little bit. So when you have this kind of sort of more complex friendship that they have, it's like, you can feel that. I think that's a relatable thing. You don't have to be in love with the person, and I don't think she is.
No, it's just the friendship. I think it's exactly. But she feels like the only way she can hold on to that friendship
is by ruining
she says
the wedding.
She'll marry him or whatever.
Yeah, and then when that doesn't work, when she really identifies herself as like, I don't really want to marry him, but she doesn't want to think. She doesn't want change is the issue.
Yes. Yeah.
But that is a beautiful ferry scene or whatever the hell they're on. Yeah.
Let's talk about Cameron Diaz, her character, Kimmy.
Sorry, I'm just choking on my beverage.
I really like most of her. I have some criticisms about her character, but I really like
character or the performance.
Character. I thought her performance was fantastic. Yeah. I really loved her performance. Yeah. And I'm not really a huge Cameron Diaz fan either, to be honest, but not as bad as Julia. But I thought she was really good in it, and so the character I liked a lot about. She's definitely a likable character, and I think she plays that well. I like some of the dialogue that they have where she's like, look, I know I can't compete with you, so I'm just gonna be your friend, and I'm just gonna whatever, you're here, and I'm just gonna go with it. You know what I mean? And I like that. I think that's kind of a cool reaction from her. It makes her feel like a good person to know, like a smart person. I feel like that conversation made her feel really smart. Although I really, really struggled with some of the choices that she made in marrying him and giving up, not finishing school. She had one more year of school and not finishing school and putting everything aside for him, in really it's making her seem like she's insecure, but I don't think that she's that insecure about her decisions. I think that she was very secure about her decisions, and then Julia Roberts' character comes in and makes, casts doubt on those decisions that she's making, and then that makes her feel insecure. But I feel like there was a lot of different
it's
levels.
Little Mermaid.
It is a little.
And Jules is Ursula.
Oh my gosh.
She's trying to cast this putting thoughts into her head, and Kimmy's giving up. Kimmy's giving up everything for this
she is, and
prince.
I really didn't like that, and very one-dimensional prince.
That's right. Yeah,
very one-dimensional.
Michael could have used some personality.
He could have used some sort of something. He was just background.
Yeah,
and maybe they did that on purpose because it was more about them anyway. But anyway,
I liked Kimmy. I liked what I like. One thing that took me by surprise then and now is when she refers to her friends as. Oh God! It was it something bitches or was it
skanks?
Skanks? Was it skanks?
Sluts.
sluts or something, but she's
with
like
the cousins?
bitter skanks, or she's like she couldn't pick either of them because they would fight, right? For the, to be the maid of honor,
right? And she said those, yes,
they're bitter old skanks or whatever she says. I don't. Those are not the words.
But sluts.
Maybe it was sluts. So then, when Jules is meeting them, they introduce themselves as we're the bitchy old sluts, like me, or the bitchy sluts that because so it's meaning that, and that says a lot about Kimmy, meaning like Kimmy's just gonna call you that, and she's just going to say it, and there is a strength to Kimmy where anytime she does sort of sniff out like when she realizes that Jules's whole thing, like in the bathroom, like she gets physical, like it's I appreciated that.
That's one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
When she lets her have it, I loved it because it finally like showed a little strength.
Well, Kimmy. You also, but there's a part of Kimmy that's like. Like you said, I'm going along with this from Michael.
Yeah.
Please. I would not choose his best friend who's a beautiful female to be, to be so close to this girl. I'm just like, I'm getting through this. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like there's a lot of layers to Kimmy.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's a really good performance.
I liked how she immediately, like, I felt like it was sort of symbolic when they get in the car, when they first meet. Well, after like the big hug and everything, they get in the car and Kimmy's driving, and she's a complete maniac driver, and I felt like it was like almost like the symbolism, like she is in complete control of everything that's happening, and of course Jules was like terrified or whatever. It was good. I liked it. I liked that like kind of back and forth stuff. The one part that really made me cringe though with her is when. She had the breakdown at the table, and she's like, "Please don't, no, I'm sorry, I take it back, and she's crying. Did I write it down? Cringing. She begs and cries to him to forgive her.
Well, so that's where I think the performance went into comedy, because I wrote the fight between Kimmy and Michael is really well acted, if a bit loud, and what you notice is the music gets dopey. And the crying and the please. And what I loved is that it not only did it backfire on Jules, but it backfired so bad. Because suddenly it's like this sloppy, tear-stained kissing, which is like just so gross anyway. But it's like it really it really backfired on Jules. Yes. And I think it had to be. I guess I'm defending it. I guess it had to be so over the top to rub it in Jules' face, like, hey, guess what? They can have this huge, crazy fight and make up in a second. And that's maybe not something that Jules is mature enough to even figure out in a relationship.
And she's obviously like this.
She's just making bad decisions all over the place.
She's a complete opposite of Jules' character.
Yeah.
Like, she would never
beg
burst person
that's right.
To forgive her. She would never even admit she was wrong.
That's right.
And she sees this woman, like, I think it really, like, took her back, like, what the hell?
All right, I'm going to jump.
It made me cringe anyway, seeing that.
It's not enjoyable, but I think it did this very over-the-top, sloppy, messy, emotional, crying grossness thing to rub it in Jules' face that they can have this. Sure.
I'm so sorry, it just occurred to me who told me that about Rupert Everett.
Who?
Jen.
How would she know?
She just, because you know how she is. She just recently watched this movie.
Okay.
And you know how she just researches things obsessively.
Yeah, Jen, mind your own business.
Seriously, Jen. She's going to watch this. She's going to listen to this episode. I'm sorry. She's probably been yelling at the thing going, it was me. It was me. It was Jen who said that. So, Jen, you're going to have to comment. Maybe, because she'll listen to this. She told me she would, because she likes this movie a lot. You'll have to comment on the video poll or the post or something, and tell me what you heard about Julia Roberts and Rupert Everett, please.
Yeah. About
her taking him under his wing or something. Okay, sorry, I will not mention that anymore.
Okay, a small role that brought me so much joy then and now, and I think it's a very underrated performance.
I know what you're going to say.
Really?
I think I know.
Who?
Paul Giamatti?
No.
Oh,
no.
That would have been awesome.
Susan Sullivan, Kimmy's mom.
Oh, she's so good in this.
Oh my God! So after the two, Rachel Griffiths is one of them, right? And
yes, which is so
Carrie
funny. For
Preston
6 Feet Under.
Yes, and she says, and then Susan Sullivan is like, "Oh, come with me or go with Kimmy." She's like, "That is if you've absorbed enough profanity from like the two other characters." But then when she runs excitedly in the church,
yep.
my God, she's just so good. And then at the restaurant, she sings and she surprises herself that she sings.
She's so
like,
fun.
like almost like I can sing. I think it's a great comedic performance.
Yes,
that
she's great.
went way under the radar because she's from like Falcon Crest, right?
Yeah,
I mean, she's a more dramatic actress, but she's really, really funny in this. And every
really
little
funny.
moment she's in, she nails.
Not many lines, but she nails every part of it.
She's a character.
And what'd she say? Was she the one that was like, she's from New York?
She's from New York, yeah. She is this character, like, in just these little dotted moments throughout the movie. Mm-hmm. She's just, who this character is in, like, a sentence, There's a line right after that Messy, Kimmy, and Michael fight that Jules says, "This is my life's happiness. I have to be ruthless." And I think that's when it becomes like almost like just like bad idea after another, where you're just wondering like, how would she ever think this would work? Like the email thing. It's like all Kimmy's father would have to say is, "Well, Jules was unattended in my office at exactly the time she signed in to my computer and wrote a poorly worded, email."
That scene bothers me so.
It's a stupid choice.
It's not. I mean, he knows she was in there.
Yeah.
He knows she was on the computer. There's no password to get to the computer.
She knows that he knows. I mean, like that he knew. Yeah.
I wrote down here. First of all, it was way too harsh, and it completely crossed the line doing this. Mm-hmm. But I also wrote, how did she think it would work?
No, I know.
And how would she think no one would know? Like, it's bizarre that she thought.
Just really quick. So we're talking about the scene where Jules is faking. She's writing an email from Michael's boss to Kimmy's father, saying, "Please offer Michael a job because we're gonna let him." No, it's Kimmy's dad. Kimmy's dad is saying, "I'm going to ask you to fire Michael for the sake of my daughter's happiness."
Right, because he won't accept my job.
Yeah.
Because he's working for you and he feels loyal to you.
Yes.
So I'm asking you to quit, to fire him so that he'll take this job for his own good.
What could possibly go wrong?
Right?
It's
so stupid. This is another one of those moments that I wrote down that I felt like she looked like she was manic. Like when she was doing it, she was like, it was another fall. She fell off her chair.
That's right.
But she was like super, super manic. And I wrote, she needs some meds.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, totally.
But what you just said about the falling backwards in the chair, that's the Julia Roberts movie. See, that's what I mean. It's like you have these like dramatic, crazy, like these dramatic moments that don't need the music, they don't need all the fanfare,
right.
But it's almost like, this is too evil. We can't have America's sweetheart, Julia Roberts, being so evil. I know, let's have her fall backwards in her chair. Mm-hmm. And also, at this time, Julia Roberts is the highest paid actress in Hollywood in the 90s.
Yep.
So she could have said, "You know what, guys, this is kind of dumb." Like, meaning...
I wonder if she said the opposite.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
I wonder if she said, "Can I fall back in the chair to make this goofy? Because I don't want people to dislike me."
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just didn't need the Julia Roberts-ishness.
Yeah, totally.
Good, sorry.
Totally. And the whole, like... Well, it was funny with the AOL. It was kind of funny, just seeing AOL again. But then the save it for later. Like, why would she save it for later?
Well, she says she was just going to show him the email.
Yeah.
She was in this, which I think what she was going to do is say...
And how would that work? Exactly.
All Michael would have to do is call Kimmy's dad and say, "Did you write this email?" And he'd be like, "Michael, no. In fact, your little friend there was in my office at exactly the time this email was saved. Talk to her about it, because she's a psycho bitch."
Right.
That's it. End of plot.
Unless she
End
was
of the
thinking,
plot
not that I want to
twist.
defend, I think this was horrible, I'm about it, right? But unless she was thinking that this would all come come out. No, that wouldn't make sense because it would have been after the wedding.
She wasn't going to send it, remember that. She was just saving it. That was the whole thing. She said, I'm not going to send it.
Right.
She said it out loud to herself.
I'm glad it was sent. She was, that was just ridiculous. Nobody saves for later.
I do. I do that sometimes. Absolutely. Because if something's still brewing and it's like I want to keep track of like where we're at, sometimes I do.
I meant nobody sane saves it for later.
Sorry.
Okay. I'm just kidding. Okay. So there was that. Lots of smoking in the room. I mean, the movie. But I think they did it on purpose because she's supposed to be a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So she smoked quite a bit. So that was supposed to be the bad guy smoking. But what I did find funny was when she was in the hallway and she lit up the cigarette. And that was the Paul Giamatti character. Matt really loved that line. What did he say? This too shall pass or something. Right?
Yeah.
But I love when his first, like, you have to put it out or whatever. And I think, I liked this line a lot, but I think she could have sold it in a different way and it would have been funnier.
Okay.
Because she says, why don't you have me arrested? And I laughed at first because I thought she was being, like, sassy. Like, well, why don't you have me arrested? And that would have been funny. But she was actually, like, sad. And she was like, why don't you have me arrested? No, really. I'm a terrible person. Have me arrested. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. Why did I have to go there? Like, she should have... I don't know. I appreciated it more when I thought she was being sassy.
Oh, my God.
But it was funny how much smoking.
Also, there's this thing where she put the ring on and she couldn't get it off. And do you remember how he takes it off?
I'm going to throw up. I wrote it down. He sucked her finger to get the ring off. And I wrote, that is so gross and inappropriate.
She has just been in a giant office building and a hotel. But I'm going to put your dirty finger in my
I didn't even think about the dirty part of it.
Ugh.
I thought of the whole, like, what are you trying to give, like, a blowjob or a hand?
That's just...
Like, it was so inappropriate and weird. And, like, I'm sorry. Brian, you're my best friend. I'm not going to suck your finger to get a ring off of
I
your
would
hand.
never suck yours either.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I appreciate that, too. Also, wouldn't the question be, why the fuck would you put on the wedding ring?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Okay.
It's sacrilege.
Do
you want to take a quick break?
Yeah,
because I have a few like random stuff, and we'll have a sip of water. All right, we will be right back. Hey there, it's Brian and Christina. We just wanted to take this break to thank you for listening to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pulp culture through a middle-aged lens. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there.
And if you have any questions, comments, or observations, shoot us an email at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. Thanks for listening, and now, back to the show.
And we're back talking about my best friend's wedding.
We are.
And what else?
Yeah, I do have something to say.
All right, tell me, because I have something that
I have one note towards the end, and this is what I mean. Oh, I will say this: Julia Roberts. I think these are big words. I think one of the best screamers. She has a great scream.
She does have a great
screams feel authentic and and truly in the moment. Like when she answers the door in the face mask.
Yes.
And she's and she realizes and she screams. I laughed. I think she Sleeping with the Enemy, great screams. Pretty Woman, she has some screams. She's a great movie screamer. She does do. Very spontaneous, feels very natural. Great. However, but my final note on this was not on the screaming, but on something else. So, the foot chase. Michael's running after Kimmy, she's running after Michael, blah, blah, blah. they end up at the bus station or the train station, right? And they're
Yes.
sitting in the wooden seats, Jules and Michael. And she's like, I'm the bad guy. And he says to her, she's like, Michael, I'm like the scum of the earth. Worse, I am the fungus on the scum on the pond under the water of the whatever, right?
Yeah.
Then there's a long pause, and he says, no, you are the pus on the fungus that eats the scum off the pond. And I'm like, wait a second.
Like,
she
enough.
just fucked your life up.
Yeah.
You just found out she was behind all these little twists and turns to ruin not only your wedding, your life. And you're going to make some rom-com joke about scum and the scum on the pond. Like, that's when it's like, it's just feels like such a Julia Roberts movie. It feels like such a movie.
Yes.
And it doesn't need it.
I really feel like there should have been a better fight between them. I mean, a more authentic fight. Because they've been friends for how many years? 20 years?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but like...
No, not even. Because they're only 28. They met in college, I thought.
So it's not even, like, what, 10 years or
it's
something?
10 years.
I mean, God, that's not even barely a relationship. But, I feel like they were so close, right? They were supposed to be best friends for so many years, blah, blah, blah. They could have had a better fight. Because friends like that can fight like that.
Yes. Yeah.
You hear that, you asshole? I'm just kidding. Friends like that can fight and really yell and have some real emotions, and then it'll be okay. I mean, you can still forgive.
Right.
But you don't say, I'm sorry, I'm pus. Oh, I'm scum.
Scum on the pond.
And then you're like, oh, you're pus. I was like, okay. All right, let's go to a wedding.
Yeah, and then they start laughing and smiling.
Like, it's really dumb.
It was
a dumb way to handle it. I didn't like it then. I didn't like it now.
Yeah.
Kimmy's reaction was much better.
Oh, yeah.
Her screaming and stuff was much better.
This is something where it's like the supporting characters throughout this movie are the brighter people.
Yeah.
I mean, really, if anything, I mean, Jules is just... And Rupert Everett has a line, I didn't write it down, but it's something along the lines of, it's funny the clarity you get when you're insanely jealous. Or it's funny how jealousy creates clarity, or something like, or it's insanity, or something like that. I don't know. I'm saying it all wrong, but the point is that like all the supporting characters know better, and it's just this Jules character that is a nightmare. But yeah, you kind of wish it gave Michael a little bit more personality, a little more intelligence.
He was so thin, just really no dimension at all to him, and maybe it was obviously like designed that way, I suppose.
Yeah. But so the big question: same. Do you like this?
Well, wait. Before we go on, we didn't even talk about the sing-along scene.
Oh, I know the table.
I really liked that song, and I was kind of leading up to that scene. I remembered liking it.
Yeah.
Leading up to the scene, I'm like, oh, I hope I still like it.
I felt that way too.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if it's going to be
cheesy?
stupid and cheesy and unrealistic or whatever. But I have to say, I really still liked it.
I bought it.
Totally. I could totally see
a group that
happening. And everyone's like
family.
super high on everybody getting married. And all the families here and being goofy. And everybody's being so fun.
And he's so charming.
And he's awesome. Yeah,
he is. Rupert Everett is so charming in this movie. And you would sing along.
Absolutely. Oh, well, I was singing along.
It would seem rude if you didn't.
Right?
It'd be the way he paints that picture and sets up that thing. I bought it all over again.
Absolutely. And I love how humiliated she is during the whole thing. She never sings.
Right.
She's just like, Jesus Christ, when is this going to end? And then even like the sisters are really funny. And then I was keeping an eye on like the rest of the audience, the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny was my memory of it was the whole entire restaurant was singing.
Yeah, right.
And that didn't really happen. It was really just that table, which made it more authentic, I thought. But it's just such a fun scene and goofy, and I totally loved it all over again. And Yeah, I bought it also.
Not as effective, but when Kimmy's doing karaoke, I believed that crowd's reaction too.
Oh my god, totally!
Karaoke, I've hosted a karaoke night for years back in the day, and that's how it always was. It was when it starts and it's like shaky, and it's like, oh god, oh god, oh god. And then there's a little point in the moment where you're like, support this person. They're still up there pushing it, pushing the song through.
And it just spoke to how charming she
can be, and
too.
she can win people over.
Yeah,
and then she was winning Jules over
in a second.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was a great scene too. I really like that song. Again, I bought that song, that scene also.
Yeah.
And I think that might be all I...
So,
except for at the end, I missed this the first time around, and I caught it this time. At the end, when Kimmy and her were fighting, and they made up, and they hugged.
Okay.
And I think this was supposed to be maybe more obvious, because remember they had a conversation, her and Michael had this conversation about how Jules never let him hug in public. And she always pulled away fast. First her and first her? That's a word. And that was one of the reasons why he loved Kimmy, is because she always lets him hug her in public for a long time.
Yeah.
And at the very end, when Kimmy and Jules had that fight, they were in this public restroom, and she let her hug her for a long time.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah, I caught it.
Christina, that's good.
But yeah.
Oh my, I didn't catch that. Yeah, it's funny. In the grand scheme of things, I do think I only because I loved it so much then. They liked it a little bit less this time around because it kept getting in its own way with the music and the cackling and the Julia Roberts thing. But just a little bit less. I still recommend it. I still loved it. But yeah, I think it's I think a little cynical, and it's like you don't have to force. You don't have to put a laugh every time Julia Roberts is mean. Don't put a laugh on it. It's like. There's some emotional stakes here that don't need the music and the Julia Roberts thing of them. That's my feeling. But I still liked it, but just a little less than I did before.
I think I liked it a little more than before. Not that I didn't like it. We probably like it opposite.
That's right. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Because I did like it. I think I was too distracted by Julia Roberts and my feelings towards Julia Roberts back then, and I was able to let that go a little bit more, and I really appreciated more of the Cameron Diaz character and some of the supporting, like her mom, for example, and Rupert Everett. Of course, I loved him then and now, but I think I liked it a little bit better now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Slightly better.
Questions?
And questions. Yeah, let's do some questions.
So I have an FMK. Do you want to start with that?
Sure.
Okay. I think I'm being pretty nice here. Okay. Fuck, marry, kill.
Okay.
Michael.
Okay.
George.
Okay.
The bellhop, Paul Giamatti. Ooh, Christina's making a face.
This is a face. Okay, I would marry George. Despite the fact that we would probably not be able to have any relations. So that's okay. It would be so much fun. I would kill Paul Giamatti.
Got it right.
All right, there you go.
And that would answer. My original. So right after I watched the movie, I wrote down Kimmy's dad. I wrote down George.
If I was going to do it, that's what I would have done.
So, but only because you brought up Paul Giamatti and how much you liked him. Like, oh, that'll sweeten the pot for Christina.
Well,
but
Matt really liked him.
Then you killed him.
Matt really liked him.
Oh, because when I said the underrated performance, you were guessing Paul Giamatti.
I thought you were going to say that. It wasn't that I felt
that you didn't feel it. Okay.
No, I mean, it was fine, but I mean, it wasn't like, I don't know. So I have a match game question. It's, I don't know, I think it sounded a little bit better in my head, but we'll see. No, I think it'll be good. Okay. All right, so Jules finally got married.
Oh.
At the ripe old age of 85.
Oh.
However, it wasn't her best friend she married. It was her best blank.
Okay, I think I have an answer. Oh my gosh, I'm actually proud of this. I'm proud of this answer. I'm proud of this answer. One moment, I haven't dinged yet.
Oh.
Ding.
Do I need to write it down?
Yes!
All right. Sorry.
Welcome to the show, Christina. Really quick shout out to, while Christina's writing, to our listeners in the UK.
Oh, yes. Thank you, guys.
Guys, the last few weeks we've been in the top 150.
Yes, thank you. Really cheers.
Nice. Cheers and...
Cheers, Mum.
No. we just lost them.
I'm sorry.
No. But no, we really appreciate it. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, that's really cool.
This is really nice. All right. Christina, repeat your question.
Oh, I forgot to repeat it. Okay. So, Jules finally got married at the ripe old age of 85. However, it wasn't her best friend she married. It was her best...
pharmacist.
Oh, I like that one way better.
Oh, good.
Good job. I did not match.
Oh.
I said...
cat.
Cat. Because I figured she'd be like an old cat lady at that point.
That's cute.
I almost said hairdresser too, but pharmacist is good. I like that.
This was fun revisiting this.
This was
because
really
it's
fun.
Layered. It's complex. It's about a lot of stuff, and there's a lot to comment on.
There was a lot more than I thought.
Me too.
I thought it was going to be a little shorter of a conversation. But you're right. There was a lot of characters to talk about and style of the movie.
Yep, and elements and good stuff.
Awesome.
And that is it for us and for this episode of Old Roommates. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or a review while you're there, please.
If you have an idea for the show or a suggestion or comment, you can email us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
Thanks again for listening. Until next time.